segment of the presentation. The last topic of the presentation, and to do the presentation I would like to request Mr. Adish Amin, Head of Business Development, JRG International.
Promise this is the last presentation before lunch, that's for sure. It's going to be a quick lunch, 30 minutes. I would request you, because the last session after lunch and the final session is going to be the first ever held in Bangladesh, as far as I know, and there's going to be a panel discussion on managing frauds within the e-banking arena. It's going to be very important in today's aspect. Please be here after lunch. Thank you.
Thanks to all of you, and I would like to be very concise, but I would like to firstly pay a tribute to this lady who keep insisting the speakers to keep it very short, but nobody is doing it. So I would like to pay the tribute to her, and will ensure that this will end within the next 5 to 10 minutes. My friend has spoken so much about security, and it's given me a very insecure kind of state where I'm feeling a kind of dead state in a area. So, we have talked about everything. We have talked about the future technologies, we have talked about mobile banking, we have talked about e-commerce and everything. But most of us must have realized that to provide the future or to provide the additional services, one should have a look at the existing one as well. Do you have a proper services set up? Do you have a proper facility to entertain your customers? So you can provide the mobile banking, you can provide the internet banking, or you can do whatever you want. So I would like to just share with you some 3 or 4 slides which which one is that? Next one. So I'm not having any screen over here.
No, in front of
okay, that one. So people are actually not doing this one. So talking about customer services, ladies and gentlemen, you need to set the agenda that do you require a customer services setup or not. If not, then okay, you are good to go. But if you require, then you need to see the comparative edge. Do you have a comparative edge? In Bangladesh, when I was here in the year 2009, I've seen some of the banks having a proper setup and facility. Now I visited again, and I again visited in 2011, and I've seen some of the banks have, achieved to that mark, where you can ask your customer to call regardless at 2 a.m. in the night, he lost a card, maybe each card or any card, and he's lost where he didn't have any facility to get access. So the customer retention is very important, and most of our organizations are moving towards growth. So once you retain your customer, then you would be able to tap new customers. So how it is happening? The contact center setup is purely about telecommunication channels and networks that link your networks with your systems. You set up the center with highly professional trained people who can retain, who can provide the best services to your customers, you supervise them, and you have the MIS reports to see where are the bottlenecks and where you will be lacking. So talking about the roles of a contact center, nowadays you can do whatever you want. It's not just like having a beautiful lady and saying, hello, this is blah 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 bank, how can I help you? You can provide customer support services. You can actually augment your marketing services. You have big billboards, and you have media campaigns, and you have some customers calling up. But there is no mechanism to get an ROI on that way to website. And then you need to have some alert services. Nowadays, customers feel very comfortable and very trusty once a transaction is done and they receive an SMS or a notification. Or even somebody use the IVR or stuff like that. So, there is no doubt, I guess, that it improves profitability, it increases your customer satisfaction, and at the end, it reduces your transaction cost. Now, why you put so much investment into the technology and say, I have a $1 million system or I have a 100,000 Dhaka system? The main purpose is to get the best ROI of it. And the best ROI you can get it by reducing the time of per transaction. A customer calling at your center, having 5,000 rupees deposit in your bank account and taking 10 minutes of your resource. So that is charging you, and that is becoming your expense as well. So contact center nowadays is working as a delivery channel. Please do understand that you require a facility to facilitate the customers for the upcoming needs. For mobile banking, for e-banking, for basic account services, you need to have some kind of setup. Nowadays, companies, as you can see on the slide, they can do the PIN management, where they maintain the internet PIN, mobile PIN, telephone PIN, card PIN, credit card PIN, ATM card PIN, and they can access the information right away without being connected to your representative. And then you do the branch banking as well. You can transfer the funds, you can generate pay order request and ask the customer, okay sir, walk down to your branch after an hour and get the PO ready. So the services accessibility channels, as some of my friends have mentioned, that other than the voice, it has increased a lot. You in Bangladesh have a very growing mobile base. You know, everybody is purchasing SIM cards for Bangladesh and Airtel. So they can access their systems by email or by web or by SMS in a secure manner. So let's see how a contact center works. A typical contact center works very simply. If you can see on the slide, on the left-hand side, you provide the channels where telephone line is a much older medium nowadays because people calling in and waiting in queues. Most of the people don't like it. So you allow your customers to call in into your center, and you make a proper kind of queue system within your setup. So what is happening? A customer calling for sales inquiry, or a customer calling for product support, or a customer calling for getting a new subscription for your account services, will be done in a manner where all the customers are being handled in a standardized manner. So none of the customers will be deviating from the services, allowing you to get them connected to the right agent. I mean, just answering the call and saying, yes sir, I can handle your problem, and she can write her status and she can send it back. But nowadays, contact centers are moving very progressively. Before the call comes in, the system decides where the call has to be routed. And if it has to be routed, there can be certain rules that can be applied within the system that can make your systems more efficient, that can make your system more productive, that can make your people being happy with the system. And at the fourth part, you can see that the customer data and everything is there. Nowadays, you have a core banking, you have a credit card, you have a debit card, you have account services, and now you are opening channels like we have just seen. So you need to integrate those information. So a customer calling in for a credit card, or the same customer have 4 different accounts with your bank, the agent should be able to serve the customer in a knowledgeable way, rather than just providing the customer services ethics and basic techniques for handling the angry customer. You should be leaning towards providing a very knowledgeable kind of data at the agent screen. So the agent is not a dummy agent who is just there to respond and take the complaint, but will be able to get it resolved on the first time, which is called first call resolution. That's how you increase your first call resolution time, and you discourage your people or customers to call you again, who can waste your resources. So if one is thinking to set up their own contact center, then they require 3 primary areas. One is the physical infrastructure. You require a facility like this or smaller. You require some work areas, some training areas, some component management rooms, cameras and stuff. Then you need some communication network, telephone lines from mobile phones. Nowadays the customer base is much on the mobile base. So maybe you would be thinking to take mobile lines to provide a cost-effective way for your customer to contact you. And then the human resource. These are the main drivers for your business. So, for managing a customer services contact center, you have to make sure that calls are answered rightly, on timely, and are connected to the route and resource so that he or she can resolve the problem. You can allow your customers to contact you anytime with the channel they want. If I'm calling you and I'm not getting access, I'm standing on the ATM machine. Regardless of the fact what ATM I'm using, I cannot access you. So you should create the channel so the customer can get in touch with you, and you should make sure that the right number of people are there. You should do some guidelines, some calculations, how many customer base you have, how many people call you in a day, what are the peak hours, how I can improve my service levels. These kind of stuff you have to do yourself. And then have a high visibility of area. Okay, it's very good to make a statement, all customers are very satisfied, and they are satisfied and everything is going fine. But when you start looking out the MISs, you want to know where the bottlenecks are, or where are the areas where your management needs the response or investment to put in. So I think that is the briefest one I can put together, because along with you, gentlemen and ladies, I am also one of the happiest person. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for the patience.
Yes, we have finished both the sessions. We will come back and join here once again. Thank you so much.